Talk Shoes.
Recorded live.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Rod. I've just checked here in North Carolina. They do have a section how an individual becomes a write-in candidate for president in 2012. So here in North Carolina, they do have a means for write-ins. I need you to check in the other states on this topic. Otherwise, what it requires is for me to file for a unaffiliated, and I have to pull a percentage of the voters here in North Carolina. I have to pull, but they're saying it's 2%, which is 85,400 votes in order to get put on the petition. Ladies and gentlemen, I need you to find out in each of your states, do they have write-ins? North Carolina does. All right? Whenever you put my name on the ballot, spell it out completely. It's Rodney Dale Class. For the write-in, write out my full name, Rodney Dale Class. That's how I have to put it into the election board, because even on the write-in, I still have to fill out a form with my name, address, everything about me, what I'm running for, and I have to get 500 qualified voters by August 17th to file in here in North Carolina. I'm going to do everything I can. But right now what we're doing is bringing this up to you. Put me in as a write-in. And it has to be, when you spell out my name, it's Rodney Dale Class. Now, let's address again why I am running for president. Ladies and gentlemen, the state of an emergency is the biggest problem that we're running underneath. None of these candidates want to address that issue. Ron Paul cannot. I can. Cannot rely on, if he was to get in, on him to be able to address this, because as good as this man is, he's got many years in politics of what he's doing. I'm going to break something down here very simple to you. Why the state of emergency is our major problem with everything we're running into. And ladies and gentlemen, this stuff was created by the Bar Association. You and I are trapped. Whenever Carl and I went in, and we did have a chance to talk to John Conyers, when we asked him any questions, he pointed over and said, there's the lawyer. There's the other lawyer. I have to clear it through them. We did not elect the lawyers. We elected John Conyers to do the job. We didn't put the lawyers in his office to tell him and to dictate how he is to run Congress. This man is supposed to know. He's supposed to have an understanding of his job function. Same thing here on the county level. I've talked to several different legislators. I have to run this through the legal firm, through the lawyers of our office. I have to get them to tell me whether I can or whether I cannot. Ladies and gentlemen, we didn't put the lawyers in office. The person we put in office was required to know their job duty. Didn't put them in office to have the lawyers run that office for them. And that's exactly what's happening across this country in every single office, including the governors right down the line. The attorneys are telling them what they can do and what they cannot do. The judges are telling them what they can do and what they cannot do. This has to change. One of the things I want to bring up, and ladies and gentlemen, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to understand this. All you have to do is go down to any car dealer. If you will pull up on the internet, manufacturer statement of origin or manufacturer certificate of origin, down to any dealership, whether it is an automobile, whether it's dealing with big trucks, whether it's dealing with a boat, dealing with a motorcycle, dealing with ATVs. That manufacturer statement of origin, whenever you buy that vehicle, gets turned over to the state. That state owns that vehicle. That's why it has to have a tag on it. That's why you're required to have a driver's license. This is how they're getting us. These courts know this, and they're not explaining this. I want you to follow me because I'm going to break this thing down. I want you to understand. If the state owns the manufacturer statement of origin or the manufacturer certificate of origin, and they are the owners of that vehicle, then who is responsible for the car payment, the insurance payment, and all the maintenance and all the upkeep? The state is. How can I prove this? Whenever the state buys any of its vehicles for state personnel, or the county buys any vehicle for their county personnel, whether it's sheriff, whether it's the police department, whether it's the fire department, they are responsible for the insurance on it, they're responsible for the maintenance up on it, they're responsible for the gas, and they are required to pay their employees, whether it be the sheriff, deputy, police officer, chief of police, fire department, mayor. They pick up the tab for that vehicle. They pay all expenses on it. The person driving it is not accountable for anything other than to have a driver's license to get behind that steering wheel. Under that same line of thought, the state of emergency set this thing up in the same manner. Whenever they took away the people's money, and ladies and gentlemen, this is all in congressional records. It goes back into Lindbergh of 1917. It goes back into McFadden, 1932, 1933, and the congressional record. It validates all of this. The Federal Reserve note is nothing more than a promise to pay. It's an IOU. That state of emergency required us to relinquish everything over to the state so they could securitize on it. This is part of what our show has been bringing up. We have a forensic auditor that has worked with us. Out of curiosity, he went back on his own home. He paid $500,000 for it. When he did the forensic audit through the Security Exchange Commission, he found out that they made $93 million off of his signature. Off of his signature, ladies and gentlemen. He signed a note, a promissory note at the bank. The bank sold it and made $93 million. And now they want to come back and repossess your home. This is a proven fact. It can be proven. We have. We're winning court cases on this. This is why I've sat here and said, Put me in office. Every mortgage will be cleared because your home's paid for. Same in a manner as your automobile. If you look at this and the state owns it because it's registered to the state, then the state became liable for all car payments, all insurance, all maintenance, all fees, everything. This is why we're addressing this, because this is not being exposed by the other candidates out here. Number one, they can't. I can. What we're also addressing is the fact that the utility companies, they take federal funding, which came from your labor, from you people, to create all these utility companies. They use your money to create the companies, and now they want to charge you for electricity after they used your money to create it. Again, this falls back under the bankruptcy. If the country was operating under gold and silver, then the government would be paying all this stuff and creating it. Then it would be justification to charge you. But because all this stuff is coming off of your credit, off of your signature, and they're securitizing off of your check, utilities in this country need to be free to everybody because you've already bought and paid for it, and now you're paying twice. What we're trying to get you to understand, the major problem in this country falls back under that state of emergency. It falls under the bankruptcy of 1933 and the way they manipulated this. Because if you was to get into Public Law 1, 48 Stat C1, which is H.R. 1491, you was to read this. This is where the licensing comes in. This is where the proclamation. Because even though they may have repealed the Trading with the Enemy Act, they put a clause in this. Section 5B. Upon a proclamation of the President, if you will take the time, get into Title 12, United States Code, which is bank and banking, get into Chapter 2, and look under Section 95, 95A, 95B, you will see that whenever you sign for a mortgage or you sign for a loan, it was directly under the state of emergency clause of knowing that there was no money. The bank knew this when they had you sign. They knew they was going to securitize. They was required to hand you the complete deed to your property, free and clear, upon your signature. But because of the Bar Association, because of the lawyers, they sit here and say, we can not only securitize on this, but we can repossess the property back, and the people will never know any different. The people are stupid. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you're not stupid. You were not told the truth. It was withheld. This is what we have been bringing up on AIB Radio. We've been exposing this. We have been laying this thing out for all to come back in and start understanding. Again, this is why I'm running for President of the United States. We don't need somebody from their side within to keep this thing going. Ladies and gentlemen, you need somebody that's fresh, someone new, who knows where the problem lies, who is laying it out and telling you where it's at for you to go back and research it. Don't take my word for anything. Go back and research the laws of what we're explaining. And you're going to find out, my God, the man's right. This is not what we're being told. All this was kept from us. It was all kept by the Bar Association. You try to bring up any of this in the courts will not allow any of this because it exposes the fraud. It exposes their corruption. They don't want any of this out. This is why, if you elect me as president, put me in office, like I've told you, I will have to put military troops down on the ground in order to deal with the corruption. Not the American people, the corruption. There's a big difference. Military would have to be put down in order to clear out the corruption and to start this country out on the right foot. Those governors that are not part of the Bar Association will retain their position. Those that are part of the Bar Association will be removed from office. The Adjutant General will then take that place for that state until a proper election to be brought up and replaced with a proper governor. And it's the same thing for legislators. Like I brought up before, Constitution of the United States, it has a lot of good foundation. The Constitution needs to be rewritten. We don't want amendments. We want the Constitution with what we have. We know where the problem lies. Let's go in, let's rewrite the Constitution for the states as well as for the United States. Let's put in the provisions in the Constitution, not in amendments, in the Constitution itself, to address these issues. This way, it is a constitutional foundation. Like I brought up also in a previous, the way this is going to have to work, each county, we need to get what is an assembly up, call it a county assembly or assembly up, of so many people, put their names in a hat, have a list. What this is going to do is, let's sit here and say 13 people. Their name gets pulled out of the hat. These 13 people are going to be the delegates for your county. These 13 people will work together to help rewrite the Constitution. And then in each county, once it is, everybody has done, you'll take 2 delegates out of each county, out of the assemblies, and you will meet. You'll set this thing down, hash out the new Constitution, correct, amend, because someone may have better ideals, some ideals may not, may be a better concept. It cannot be a lifetime concern. It has to be done rather quickly in order to reestablish a proper form of government in the United States. Once each state county gets together, then this has to be done nationwide, to where you will pick one person to represent the state, and all the states get together, go back, hash it out, correct where it can be all agreed upon, and then use that for your final Constitution for your state, and the final Constitution to be put for the United States, to be put before the people, to be voted on. People are going to have to vote on this. This is not going to be, this is how it's going to be. All of you are going to have to vote on this. The longer it takes, longer it's got to be for the country is put back into running order. Once the Constitution is set up, then people vote on it. Then you set this thing up to start electing for your new electors for the state. You don't have a governor, you run for a new election for the state. Your legislators. Part of these provisions is going to be the governor and the president will no longer appoint anybody to any office. All offices that are going to be functional are going to have to be put on the ballot, and people are going to have to run. It's not going to be a crony of the governor or the president or some other member. That's our number one problem. People are getting into position because they're cronies, not by the people. That's going to be one of the restrictions is going to have to be placed in the Constitution. But again, this is going to be up with how you people write this out. I'm just trying to lay out some ideals here, some groundwork for all of you of what to think about. The veterans will have to be taken care of, and I brought this up. Any disabled veteran who can't work, that comes back in from war zone, and this goes back into past veterans, back to Vietnam, Korea, even World War II. Veterans will be set up through a general order that the disabled veteran will get $4,000 a month, flat out, cost of living, for his means of support. Social Security, I need to check into it. But Social Security, for people who are disabled on Social Security, there's no reason why they cannot get $2,000 a month for Social Security. There's a lot of people that's out here, 65, 70, 80, living on $300, $400 a month. No excuse for this. These people deserve better than this. This isn't going to be a welfare state where I don't feel like working, so I want to draw Social Security. No. You're going to have to qualify. But it isn't going to be under the restrictions that it has been, like they've ran it. There's going to be new provisions in this. Again, I'm going to run for president as a write-in. When you put my name down, you have to spell the whole thing out, called Rodney Dale Class. That's for write-in president. I want you to check in your own states because I need to find out. I've got a deadline. I've got to get all 50 states to see how they're set up. Here in North Carolina, I can do a write-in, and I don't have to meet the stringent as an unaffiliated because I got to pull a percentage. As a write-in candidate, all I have to have is for me to come in this state is to get 500 votes. Check in your state. Check in your state to see how this thing works. But ladies and gentlemen, the American people need better. What would be foreign policy? Foreign policy is, number one, we would clear the debt that we owe with the amount of oil and stuff that comes out of this country, the amount of oil and gold that has been sent over to these countries that we're supposedly borrowing money off of. This would all have to be tallied up to find out if we have actually paid them or we have not paid them. Some of the people that is going to be in some of these administrations, if they have the qualifications and their supervisor doesn't have because they've got a Esquire after their name, Esquires will be removed. If the person down below them is qualified, then they'll take that position to keep the country running as best as possible. Law enforcement will be told, unless there is property damage, unless there is personal injury or a threat of life endangerment, there will be no more tickets wrote out. If you've got a tail light out, you've got a license plate light out, you've got a headlight out, this is called courtesy. All you will do is pull the person over and say, ma'am, sir, I noticed you got a light out. For safety, you need to get it fixed. Thank you. Have a good day. That's it. Because, ladies and gentlemen, the lawsuit that I brought here in North Carolina, against DOT, tag agency, and the police officers, I brought up under Title 23 CFR, and ladies and gentlemen, I want you to go look this up. Under Title 23 CFR, Section 1250, 40% of the Highway Safety Act is supposed to be coming back into your political subdivision. That is mandated under Title 23 United States Code under 402. Your political subdivision is not getting its share of the federal funding. The judges know this. So does the attorneys. It's gone into the CAFA account. It's gone back into their account, not coming back into the people. The CAFA accounts will be opened up. Anything that's sitting in them will be used towards the state to pay damages and injuries to the people. There will be pardons on all IRS cases. That everybody who's ever went to jail on an IRS case will be pardoned and will receive remedy. Same thing with traffic. You will be pardoned and you will receive remedy. What they have done to the American people under the State of Emergency Clause, all to securitize off of your signature and your name. We have proven this on AIB because we can get in, and we've had people pull Dun & Bradstreet, found cases and names of people sitting on Dun & Bradstreet. Case down here in Florida, this gentleman went to jail for pondage, is that he securitized on his own court cases. And he made money off of it. The CRIS report, which is Court Registry Investment System, sits here and shows they're making hundreds of thousands of dollars and millions of dollars off court cases by securitizing on them. This goes back to the Bar Association. That's why the Bar Association is going to have to be removed. It's not an option. It's not a choice. Put me in as president, we're going to have to sit down and remove them, and they'll never be allowed to hold another public office. Attorneys will now have to be registered through the Secretary of State. All new attorneys, let me rephrase that. All new attorneys will have to be registered with the Secretary of State. All new attorneys will be taught law, not contract, not procedures like they have been. They will be taught law. And the only position that they can hold would be with any business, be their lawyer to run that business to make sure that business stays legitimate. They do have their needs, but not the way they have been running it. They do have their needs. Ladies and gentlemen, if you were in Mexico, you crossed the border as an illegal American into there, you'd go to prison. You went into these foreign countries, you would be in prison. Look what happened with those 3 hikers. Look what happened over in that area. They got caught hiking. They crossed the border and didn't realize it. Look what's going on with them. All illegal aliens in this country will be shipped back to their prominent state. There's no Social Security. There's no college fund. There's no benefits. I don't care if they had a child here. They came here illegally. They all go back. The borders will be secured. I brought this up on a previous one. Any of them get caught will be put on a chain gang. They will be put into our natural forests of this country. They will clean out all the dead woods. They will go in and do cleanup. After a period of time, they will be given a choice. Do you want to go back to your country or you want to stay on a chain gang? We have to tighten up our own resources in this country. If we know we've got criminals coming in, they will be stopped at the border and sent back. None of these other candidates are bringing any of this up. None of these other candidates are addressing this. They're sidestepping it. They want to do a bandage. I'm not interested in a bandage. Those of you that know me, I go after the root of the problem. We want to fix this problem, then we have to start with the root and uproot it and take it out. Is there going to be a little bit of turmoil in this country? Most certainly. But ladies and gentlemen, that depends on how fast you get up to running order. That depends on how fast you're willing to learn the job of being a governor, learn the job of being a legislator, learn the job of transportation, learn the job of Secretary of State, learn the job of Treasury and audit. Learn these jobs, because you're not going to have the lawyer in there telling you how to go do your job. Some of you will probably agree with me. The Attorney General, yeah, that goes back into knowing the law. You need someone who knows the law. But you don't have to be a lawyer to know the law. You don't have to be the lawyer to be an Attorney General. I hold a position as private Attorney General through the United States Congress. All of us do. You all hold that position if you are educated and understand what that position is and can address it. That's why I'm addressing you right now. I know what it takes to be president. One of the things here through the Senate manual, in all reality, if you go back and read the Senate manual, that's like the Jefferson's manual. The President of the United States, before any decisions are made, he has to go to the Senate, not Congress, to the Senate. He has to get permission from the Senate. And it has to be by 2/3. If he wants Charmin toilet paper, or if he wants White Cloud toilet paper, he has to go to the Senate. And if he's been a very bad boy, they could sit down and say, you know what? All we're going to do is give you this dried out corn cob. Have a nice day. Not entitled to the soft stuff. You've been bad. We're going to give you a corn cob. Go wipe. The Senate is supposed to be controlling what the president does. Under this state of emergency is why the president is dictating and running ramrod over the House and the Senate. That will be one of the things within the Constitution that you people will have to correct. You will have to install in the Constitution at no time will Congress ever relinquish full power to a single man again. Constitution that you guys would write up would have to sit back and show that only Congress will and can declare war, not a single man. Congress will have to sit down and determine. This is why you need a federal Congress, ladies and gentlemen, because when you're dealing with international, you need a separate body to deal for the entire country on international issues. And then have it brought into the state legislation to address if there's anything going to affect the state. But ladies and gentlemen, I would also put in the Constitution, and we've talked about this on the previous show, no more federal judges getting lifetime jobs, 6 years max. Legislation, no more than 2 terms max. Hold on a minute. But ladies and gentlemen, we need to also set in the Constitution what contributes good behavior for a judge that's sitting on the bench. Don't use the word good behavior. We need to specify exactly what good behavior is. We also need to specify in the Constitution, like I said, we don't want amendments. We want additions put in the Constitution, not as amendment, but as rewrite the Constitution. That all courts will have one set of rules to follow. You're not going to have the civil rules of procedure, the federal rules of civil procedure, the Code of Civil Procedure, and then we have our own personal little local rules that we follow. And even the civil rules and local rules of all these courts are not all the same. We're going to standardize this. One set of rules for all the courts across this country. So it doesn't matter where you come from. You get some type of violation, the rules are always going to be the same. And like I told you, under general order, I will dissolve the corporation. I will dissolve the territory of the District of Columbia, and I will bring it back to the land of the United States of America, not the United States. I will bring it back to the people. The United States of America means from the southern borders of Canada to the northern borders of Mexico and the Gulf from the Pacific Ocean to the Atlantic Ocean. That is the United States of America. I will dissolve the corporation. I will dissolve the territorial side of this thing. It can be done through general order as president because remember, we're under state of emergency. And right now, under that state of emergency, the president has absolute authority. Put me in. I can fix a lot of this right off the bat. IRS will be dissolved. IRS agents will be part of the problem here as being picked up because they know the truth. They know there is no money. These IRS agent knows when they drag you into the federal court and they are dragging you in under the jurisdiction of the District Court of the United States, they are required to bring you before the United States Tax Court, which is supposed to be listed on the paperwork, and not the United States District Court in one of its 3 spellings. They know they brought you into the wrong jurisdiction. They brought you into the wrong court heading, knowing that they were supposed to bring you into an administrative tax court. Every one of these IRS agents knows this, and they are aware of this, and they're not doing it. This goes back to the Bar Association of railroading you people. This goes back to the state of emergency. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm coming to you and we're laying all this stuff out. I need your help. I need your assistance to put me in as President of the United States so I can fix this thing. And with your help, we can restore this country back to what it was. We need the agriculture in this country to grow, and we can meet with the farmers. And what restrictions do you need taken off? We could meet with other business people. What restrictions do you need taken off in order to prosper, in order to turn this country around and get it back in what it was a long time ago as one of the greatest countries in the world? I want to sit down, also bring something up to you. Whenever Pakistan and India started working on their nuclear, the United States raised all kinds of, we can't allow you to do this. Same thing with North Korea. Now they're doing it with Iran. The United States is the only country that ever dropped a nuclear bomb, not once, but twice. The United States has used depleted uranium and is using it in their shells whenever we was in Afghanistan, Iraq. This is the pot calling the kettle black. But ladies and gentlemen, basis, get me in office. Make me president. Spell my whole name out, Rodney Dale Class, on the ballot sheet. Get this word out across this country. Get my name out. Get what we're talking about. Get people on the internet. Get them to pull up what we're doing. I already checked YouTube, but the show that I did here Wednesday night is already on YouTube. Thank you very much, because we need this out. I don't need millions and millions of dollars when I have a telephone and an internet service and people putting this stuff out over YouTube. I don't need to buy votes. I need your vote. I don't need to be bribed. If I give you this, you got to give me this favor. I need your vote, ladies and gentlemen. You need somebody who's not part of the system to come in and clean the system. And I will clean the system. And I will bring up the people responsible. You put me in office, I will bring up the people responsible for my highly education in this, which is Edward O'Farrell out of New Philadelphia, Ohio, Mary Wade Space out of New Philadelphia, Ohio, Lehi Tamakis out of New Philadelphia, Ohio. These are the three judges that inspired me. Then we got the police officer, Sean Nelson, that pulled me over for having an out-of-state driver's license and charging me for driving with an out-of-state driver's license. And we don't want to forget David C. Hipp, which is a fourth-degree felon because I pulled his criminal record. He was disbarred, but yet he was still a prosecutor. Scott Maston, Christine Weiner, and Stevenson III, Jim Range. These are the people that inspired me. These are the people that sit down who taught me and tried to teach me, and they did a very good job, and I want them to be recognized. You make me president, and I will personally bring these people forward so they can get the applause and what's coming to them by their own people. I think I could not do any better favor for them that had their own people know that these were the people that would create their downfall and hand it over to them. That could be the best thing that I could do for them. I'm sure they will be welcomed open arms in their own people. And that's why I want to sit down. I want to give them the credit, because we need to give credit where credit's due. But ladies and gentlemen, we want a better country for our kids. And we're coming into that cycle, that 2012 cycle. And nobody's going to know what's going to happen on December 21st. Nobody knows. But God willing, we are coming into that cycle, or that 70-year cycle that comes every 70 years, where we have to make choices. And we're coming right back into that 70-year cycle again. We're going to have to make some choices, ladies and gentlemen. Do we stay on the path of destruction, or do we change? What do we do? I can only fix the problem with your assistance. I can only restore this country. And this is not Tim Turner, where I am self-proclaimed president. You are going to make me. You are going to elect me. This is not some self-proclaimed. You are going to put my name on the ballot. It's going to be your choice. Not a handful of people sit down and say, oh, yeah, we want him for president. I told them to start with that. That isn't how to do it. He has to have the people. And that's what I'm telling you. You people have to make this choice. Same thing with the rest of the system. You people are going to have to get involved. Kennedy was right. Ask not what your country can do for you, but ask what you can do for your country. You have to step up. What can I do to improve our nation? What can I do to make sure that the corruption doesn't ever happen again? The 13th Amendment has to be part of this. But the 13th Amendment, ladies and gentlemen, if you go back and read Article 1, Section 10, titles nobility, it's already in the Constitution. The 13th Amendment could be put in as an article. Not as an amendment, put it in as an article. Therefore, being an article of the Constitution, then it stands. That would be the smartest way to do it. That would be the appropriate way to do it. But ladies and gentlemen, the choice is yours. The choice has always been yours. The problem of it is we haven't had a whole lot to pick from. You're picking the difference between a piece of hot fiery coal and a piece of lava. You're going to get burnt each way. No matter how you go, you're going to get burnt. I want to be that third choice. I want to be that third choice. I want to be that one who could come in where you're not worrying about, if I grab the hot coal, I'm going to get my hands burnt. If I grab the hot lava, I'm going to get my hands burnt. I want something that's going to put out the fire on both sides. Think about it. Get my name out. Tell people that there is a third choice. Get my name out. Make sure when you put it on the ballot, it's Rodney Dale Class. I don't care if you want to put a hyphen or put a semicolon in between the word Dale, Rod and Dale, and Dale and Class. Just put my name on the ballot. You need somebody who knows what's going on and does not have the fear and will not have the fear. And like we sit here and talk, probably my first year I will probably be in, pretty much in lockdown until we get this problem resolved. Because I would end up being a target. And if I'm out in public, I'd end up being a target. But I will hold on a regular basis, once this thing starts, I will hold fireside chats, not necessarily a State of the Union, but fireside chats of keeping you people informed of what's going on with the Constitution, with getting the government back up and running. Bring people in, sit down and say, yes, we've done this. This is where we're sitting at. And keep you people informed. This is going to have to be a joint effort by all of us. I am nothing more than a hayseed. I'm nothing more than a country boy. That's all I am. But I've learned, and you people have heard me, and the following that I have on AIB radio and with the advertisement that we're getting out on the internet. This country boy, more than a country boy. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for being here. Get my name out. coming November 2nd. Put me in as a write-in. But I need to hear from other states. I have to hear as soon as possible on how this thing, because if I have to run a different route and have to run as unaffiliated, then I need to know as soon as possible. Thank you, and good night.